exposing the secret knowledge of the new kingdom of heaven as foretold by Jesus Christ. After the discovery of the New World in 1492, an influx of New World information provided the Old World stuck in the Gregorian Middle Ages with leaps and bounds of scientific breakthroughs and spiritual revelations. Almost immediately, Europe experienced its pivotal Renaissance, and painters like Da Vinci, after the 1500s, began to produce his groundbreaking works based on the sacred math and geometry of the human body. Suddenly, Da Vinci and others were incorporating the architecture of certain prehistoric stone monuments into their art, like this, the painting of Da Vinci's Last Supper, and this actual Mayan temple in Mexico, both of which encode into them Orion's belt. Mind-blowing, right? That's not even the tip of the iceberg we'll explore in this video. The Maya and Aztec had proved to be experts of human anatomy, something Da Vinci soon mastered as well. European society at large saw the invention of the letter J, which was created soon after the New World was discovered in 1524. However, the most pivotal breakthrough came when the Gregorians cracked the code of the heavens. For hundreds, if not thousands of years, Europe was lost and stuck in these dark and medieval times where no one really knew how to track time. There was all this confusion between the societies of Europe. Some said there were 10 months, others said 11, some 12. There was fear about the moon, so people refused to study it even though it is precisely the moon cycles which give us the calendar. The sun, well, it is recorded that the Middle Ages suffered many ice ages, so for them the sun was constantly blocked out, and without being able to clearly see the sun, they could not look up to the sky and create a precise zodiac, which is based on the sun. But without a sun, well, that's the name for those times, the Dark Ages. Finally, after the knowledge pouring in from the New World, and these people called the Maya, which the Aztecs themselves spoke of with amazement, the European civilization really experienced a renaissance. The Mayan expertise was legendary to even the Aztecs. To this day, the Maya seem unmatched with their advanced knowledge about, and this is a long list, the skies, timekeeping, electricity, which we will explore in a future Occult Secrets Revealed series. Their expert calendars that track the sun and the moon separately and together, along with their libraries of knowledge about human anatomy, the planets, and specific musical tritones, reflected also in planetary ratios, all of which explained so much to the old world of Europe, stuck in the Gregorian dark medieval ages. Enough to bring them rapidly up to speed, because Europe experienced not only a rebirth of art, culture, science, and language, but it introduced a way of measuring, which was the basis of measurement for the ancient Maya, a measure that is laughed at by the world except by Americans. Well, 'cause if you're not here, you want to be, I guess. At least I think so. Anyway, the Americans use a measure that may not be so American as we think, but is really American to the core. And that is because this specific measure is the heritage of the land and the ancient American civilization of the Maya, a people who even to the Aztecs were a fairy tale, mystical, and magical people, a people who vanished out of thin air, leaving no trace of their existence, because they themselves spoke of a god made of light that shined an iridescent splendor like a prism, made of a non-corporeal light that did not burn, but who said he was a resurrected deity. And using his knowledge, this deity taught them the magical science, which is essentially the one and same teaching of Thoth, the Atlantean, the father of the Hermetic knowledge of alchemy, as revealed in his emerald tablets, where he himself claims to have been the father of this exact magical science of the Maya. Historical records indicate Thoth established Chem. Egypt became the home of practically all alchemy mystery schools known today. The conquistadores and first explorers of the Americas, alongside the founding fathers of America, were all well known and powerful products of the teachings of these ancient mystery schools. Ancient mystery schools established by Thoth, the Egyptian priest king originally from the Americas. Using the same knowledge before 1492, the Maya transcended, vanished into thin air, leaving behind all their stone monuments and knowledge, which the Aztecs themselves could not decipher and misinterpreted. It was not until the European elite after 1492 who knew exactly what these stone relics tracking the stars and planets meant, and began to immediately decipher these calendar codes, incorporate this knowledge into their art, their sciences, updated their own calendars, and with them, European society. Except, while the Gregorian calendar traces almost correctly the 12.36 lunations to form its 12 moon months in the calendar year, our secondary sun calendar or Zodiac has not received the same crucial update to reflect in its precision as the ancient Mexicans and Egyptian priests had the true heavens of today. That is until 2018, when, after years of serious study, his strong personal relationship with God, and his desire to understand all that the heavens mean, one man finally seemed to crack the code of the heavens, the code that unlocks the secrets of the sun. This video is going to present you with astounding math. Math that is so magical in the way it blends music, the body, the stars, and planets, that you will feel like you are definitely going down the rabbit hole, but it's going to be one with jaw-dropping twists and turns. What you can walk away with is the knowledge that inspired Da Vinci and the whole of European society to have a renaissance, and hopefully with a whole new way of seeing the heavens above that, like for me, has helped me turn my life around in the short 5 years of cracking these codes. Because it was me, Adonis, who in 2018 cracked this code of the Zodiac despite all the secrecy and exclusivity surrounding this knowledge, and began to live by it. And I know you can, in 5 years, also live in your own heaven on earth like me. This is our second millennium renaissance, the Adonisian era. Timekeeping is what the ancient Mexicans are most well known for. In the Quiche language, the Mayan calendar is called the Zolkin or Sol, day, kin, count, day count. This day count of the Solkin has 2 ways to count. First, by the 13 poderios of the Hob, or the sun count, and the 20 uinas or the Zolkin count of the moon. In combination, the sun Hob and moon Zolkin counts form an interlocking system, all of which begins and ends anew after 19 years, an important moon number as eclipses return back to their same degrees every 19 years. For example, the new moon solar eclipse we experienced on October 14th, 2023, we also experienced in 2004, and will again theoretically in 2042. I say theoretically because, as future occult secrets revealed videos will explore, tribulations in the heavens are normal, and it seems that we are due for one soon. The sun hub cycles through 13 poderios, and for the Maya, 13 is the number of renewal and rebirth. Thus, why the sun hub count, or Zodiac, begins anew every 13 signs through the poderios of the sun. 13 sun sign poderios times 20 moon uinas equals 260 days, which for the Maya makes one full Zolkin moon count of 260 days. 260 days is the typical period of gestation from time of conception to birth. It is thus a powerful seed of life number. 20 makes up the number of fingers and toes, while there are 13 major human joints. A cornerstone teaching of the Hermetic wisdom, as this reflects the principle of correspondence, which teaches, as above, so below, as without, so within. As 13 sun signs above, 13 sun joints within. As 20 moon uinas above, 20 toes and fingers below. As duality, or as the Hermetic wisdom teaches, polarity, is essential to the ancient Mexicans. One full Zolkin moon count, made of 260 days, times the 13 poderios of the sun hub Zodiac, makes 3,380 days. But that makes up only 9.2 years, and not the 19 years it takes for the eclipses to return to the same degree. And here's one secret decoded for you. To fulfill the standard of Mayan dualism or Hermetic polarity, the 13 poderios must be traversed a little over 2 times. I know these are a lot of numbers, but understanding this code is the secret to harnessing the magic. To fulfill the full 19-year cycle, we have to add a few days. Exactly 175 days more, which makes up 0.67 of the whole 260-day count. Thus, we add 0.67 to the 13 base poderios to get exactly 1/2 of the Mayan duality or Hermetic polarity, giving us 13.67 for each half slice of the pie of duality. Now, 13.67 times 2 yields 27.34, which make up the exact number of days in one lunar orbital period, or days it takes for the moon to return to a fixed star or degree, and the number of years it takes for Saturn to end his orbit once around the zodiac, and the number of moon mansions or nakashatras in the zodiac. Mind-blowing, right? Now, why? But most importantly, how did they come to such expert knowledge of space, the planets, timekeeping, and how this related to the body? The answer is because a basic tenet to the ancient Mexican teaching was God geometrizes. Thus, the Mayan calendar is much more than a time count. It reveals God's greatest force at work, the geometry of time. Geometry leads to God and reveals the secrets of God's greatest natural force, time. Time also creates space. If you can slow down time in you via vibration, you can control space and bend it to your will. The secret is mental manipulation of the vibration of time in you. The intercalary Zolkin moon count of 260 days and the Hobbs sun count of 365 days get synchronized every 18,980 days. In future Occult Secrets Revealed, we will explore each one of the 13 major Mayan joints and what each teaches about the heaven in you. For now, here is some more mind-blowing math the ancient Mexicans discovered about how the moon Zolkin, the sun Hob, and 18,980 days are values that relate further to each other. 18,980 days divided by 52, the number of weeks, makes 365, one sun Hob, or year. 18,980 divided by 260, one moon Zolkin, makes 73. Now, the ratio of 52 to 73 equals, and this is going to blow your mind, wondering, how did they know? The ratio of 52 to 73 equals the exact same ratio between the diameter of the moon, 2,160, to that of Mercury, 3,032, in miles. Not the meter, or today's international system of unit, the mile. 5273 is an ancient Mexican number describing both a planetary ratio in miles and musical tritone, called a tonal tritone in Greco-English. Yet, the Greco-English word tonal is not the only usage of this word to describe a musical tritone relating to the music of the spheres as a mathematical ratio. It also does a whole ocean breadths away by the ancient Mexican word tonal. One word, same symbolic, geometric, galactic, and musical meaning from two supposedly separated cultures, as if it can't get any clearer that they are branches of one and the same cultural family of the Hermetic wisdom. The ancient Mexicans and Greco-Egyptian Pythagoreans alluded to the same thing through the word made of two syllables, to-nal. And until next time, trust and believe that it is okay to be you, the most beautiful you there ever was, there is, and that there ever will be. Because you are not a story that can be told twice. And there will never again be a stage for you to perform but this one, right here, right now. So be you, the most beautiful you.